Hello everyone, my name is Mitch Etchason. I'm a product manager here at Scale Computing, and today I'm giving an overview of our business resilience system, a fully integrated BCDR appliance that is purpose-built for use with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud. As mentioned, the business resilience system, or BRS as it's known, is a fully integrated BCDR appliance. This appliance is intended for use with Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud and is based on our existing HyperCore technology. Our existing HyperCore technology has allowed us to build an appliance for use for the backup and DR use case that is easy to manage, which is crucial during failure scenarios, is scalable so you can grow as storage consumption and requirements for backups grow, allows for rapid on-device VM recovery, which is crucial to the value of this system. I'm going to say that again. You can spin up critical VMs directly on this backup appliance, all in an affordable package. What's exciting about this type of appliance when used with Acronis is it makes it easier for customers and MSPs to deploy full hybrid cloud strategies for backup and disaster recovery. This allows both customers and MSPs to protect against different failure scenarios and maximize their recovery efficiency. For example, if there is a localized failure, let's say a production host fails, a BRS would be ideal to rapidly spin up those business-critical workloads directly on-site without pulling anything down from the cloud. In addition to this, using Acronis' built-in Cloud DR technology would allow you to very rapidly recover critical VMs in the cloud should there be a site-wide failure, say due to a natural disaster or a fire. So when using these strategies in conjunction, you can maximize your protection and ensure that you are ready to respond to a whole gamut of different failure scenarios. We see the BRS deployed in two main strategies. The first one is what I'm displaying on screen right now. It is typically what customers associate with when they think of a backup appliance. In this use case, customers will have a production system on site, and they will be sending their backup files directly to a local BRS, as well as converting those files to powered off VMs instantiated on the local BRS device that are there in standby for rapid recovery during a DR situation. In this type of scenario, a customer would deploy a virtual NAS VM running on the BRS itself, and that is actually what they will point Acronis to send the backups. So they will be targeting that virtual NAS appliance to send their backups to the BRS, and at the same time referencing those backups that live on the BRS and converting those files to VMs that are ready to be powered on at a moment's notice. However, one exciting aspect of the BRS is how flexible of a solution it is. That brings me to our second deployment strategy. It's very similar with one important difference. Here you have that same customer production environment. It could be VMware, it could be Hyper-V. The BRS does work with non-scale infrastructure, which is key. So you have that production site that they are sending their backup files to secondary storage that is not on the BRS. It could be a local NAS, but it also could be a target like Acronis' cloud or other public cloud providers. It doesn't matter where you're sending those backup files, they can still be referenced to instantiate standby virtual machines on a local BRS system. This allows customers who require the local recovery ability but don't need all of their backups locally on site to minimize the hardware footprint for a local BRS system, especially if they only have a handful of virtual machines that are critical enough to need to be recovered at a moment's notice. All right, let's transition to a demo so I can show exactly what I'm talking about and dive into these types of deployment strategies. So here I've navigated to a standalone ESXi host that's set up in my lab environment. This is nothing special. It is simply ESXi 6.7, and I'm running a few VMs. For the sake of this demonstration, let's say this is a customer's production environment, and I'm running 3 virtual machines. One of which, let's just log into this Windows machine, It is a Windows Server 2019 VM. Nothing special, but once again, for the sake of the demo, this is a production workload that is business critical and needs to be up and running as much as possible. So when I deploy a BRS, in order to back up and prepare this VM for instant recovery, first I need to back up this virtual machine. In this case, I have chosen to deploy the Acronis guest agent within this VM so I can back it up. I do want to note here that for both VMware and scale computing, you can deploy a Acronis virtual appliance directly on the cluster itself and then back up all of those VMs without deploying in-guest agents. This is available for scale computing, and that is what I often recommend customers do to help ease of use so they don't have to go in and manage agents within all of the VMs, particularly on a scale cluster that is running a lot of backups. There are benefits to running the agent from a security perspective as well, which you should take into account, but that is out of scope of this demonstration, and so I will continue on. But for the sake of this, I'm backing up this business-critical virtual machine using a guest agent within the VM that is running on VMware. So let's navigate here to the Acronis Cyber Protect console, and you'll see right here under my devices, here is this Windows machine that is running on my VMware host. It's nothing special, but I need to configure two plans to prepare it for backups as well as DR on a BRS. The first type of plan is the protection plan. This is the typical backup plan where you set what you're backing up, where you're backing it up, and the backup schedule. There's nothing fancy about this. This is all what you would be very familiar with all of the technology that you might be using for your backups. In this case, for simplicity, I am backing this up to Acronis cloud storage. Once again, this can be backed up directly to a local BRS. I just opted for cloud storage for setting up this demonstration. After you set up your protection plan, where you specify where you're backing up and how often you're backing up, next you would create a conversion to VM plan. And this is really the meat of the integration when it comes to using a local BRS for rapid DR. Here, you can see I've set up a conversion to VM plan where I'm taking the backups from my protection plan. So in this case, I'm backing up my VMware production VM to Acronis cloud. I'm taking those backups that live in Acronis cloud and converting them to a scale computing format and then targeting them at my local BRS node to instantiate in standby for a local disaster. I'm able to point those backups to the local BRS by deploying the Acronis virtual appliance on the BRS itself. Here, see, I'm telling Acronis which items to convert. In this example, it is that protection plan that is backing up that VMware VM to the cloud, saying what I'm backing them up, what I'm converting them to, and where I'm pointing those conversions, and then also setting a schedule of how often I want to run this conversion process. So now let's go to the local BRS node. It looks a little something like this. This would be a single local BRS. This happens to be running on an Intel NUC. All of these tiles at the bottom signify either powered off or running virtual machines. Here you will see that Acronis virtual appliance that I used to target the BRS with my converted backup VMs. And here would be an example of a virtual NAS that would be deployed when you want to target a local BRS for your Acronis backups. The most important piece, though, are these two converted VMs here at the top. This is the result of that conversion to VM process. So as you may remember, I configured this schedule of how often I want to do this conversion. Once I do that initial conversion, Acronis will automatically reach into the local BRS node and instantiate a powered-off virtual machine that then, from that point on, will get continually updated with the latest production VM data according to the schedule that you specified in the conversion to VM plan. So let's say there's a failure. Let's say this VMware host went offline and I need to recover this VM as quickly as possible. All I would do was navigate to this BRS UI and either directly power on this VM, or what I typically do and what I recommend is to clone that VM. It will come up very quickly and then power on this virtual machine. And then once that virtual machine gets up and running, as you can see, I will navigate to the console of that virtual machine. And my production Windows Server 2019 VM will start booting instantaneously, as you can see here. And so that is the entire disaster recovery plan. It is mere seconds from hitting that power button to getting that VM up and running. And if we wait a few more seconds here, we will actually see the Windows login screen come up. There we go. That's the Windows production VM. And I do want to note, we do have bulk actions in the BRS UI. So when you have more than one converted VM that you need to recover in a failure scenario, you'll be able to clone and power them all on with just 2 clicks. Thank you for taking the time to watch this overview of the Scale Computing BRS. If you have any further questions or would like to schedule an in-person demo, please do not hesitate to reach out to us via our website or by emailing acronis@scalecomputing.com. Thank you very much.